Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. We're going to be tackling a team game today. This is on Hilly Plateau. We are in familiar territory, and it is actually the regular version of Hilly Plateau. It's not the ultimate or the, what is it, adaptive or any other crazy version. We're strictly just out on the plateaus for a good game. Let's go ahead and introduce the teams, and then we'll dive right into the action. On the north side, we've got Postal as UEF, Tarantula or Tarantula, depending on how you feel like butchering the English language, or I guess, what is the origination of Tarantula? I don't even know. Someone is going to answer me in the comments, and it is going to be too late for me to correct it in this video. We've got ICOM. He is Aeon in the lovely blue color, and then OK Puck as UEF on the right-hand side. On the south side, we've got Sui as UEF, Seraphim, the faction of choice for Maverick, or maybe it was all random, I'm not actually sure. Screw Loose is UEF, and then we've got Zeren. He is Cybran in the purple color. So on this map, there is not particularly a dedicated air slot. Everybody's got to cover land. Everybody's got to build a little bit of T1 air. You just got to kind of take care of your own business. Hopefully somebody will move to T3 air eventually. You've got your front players that run out to the middle where there is a lot of mass, as you can see, although there is a lot of mass everywhere on this map. Tons of rocks around each of the little ridges out there. And then your side positions are going to go out this way. This is actually a ridiculously well-balanced game. We've got Postal, we've got a 17, a 15, two 13s, and then a 13 and a 12. This is a really, really well-balanced game. 93%. So we should be able to see some good stuff happening. Maverick is headed up towards the front. He is going to build those two mass extractors, which is kind of a weird choice with his ACU without even placing move order and then a build order so that he optimizes his pathing. So that's a very weird thing right off the bat. Screw Loose is going to run his ACU right up there to the front. Looks like Postal is headed out to the side. He's going to drop a mass extractor and then 3 land factories. One of my favorite builds for me in particular. I do like getting that build power up on the front so that I have a fast response time on unit mix changes, and then I can hopefully later on upgrade those to support factories and start flooding the entire map with Percivals or Loyalists or whatever the unit of choice is. And I'm flailing my arms around wildly, and I don't even know why, because you cannot see me. Looks like the front players here, ooh, buddy, you got that mech stolen right out from under you. There are a couple of mech marines over on this side, annoying sons of guns to have all up in your business. Those are going to kill an engineer there and then hopefully head off to kill more. Tarantula and ICOM moving in towards the center. Interesting strategy if you can afford it. Send 3 commanders to the middle and you can surprise the socks off of anybody who is in here and send them a run-in, because 3 versus 2, somebody's going to die, and you don't want to be that person. But it is 2v2 for the moment. There is a bomber out for red headed across before any air comes up for the opposing team, although there are air factories being built. And we've got some T1 units already streaming out for Screw Loose. So he is going to get a jump on the opposing team as far as getting support out for his commander. Interesting strategy by these guys. Not building any units to come to their ACU's aid. That is a good way to accidentally lose someone. UEF Bomber going to kill 1 measly engineer and take half the health of another for the trouble of his bombing run. And then there's immediately going to be a pile of anti-air, both stationary and mobile, that's going to come out of the woodwork and destroy him. Also another bomber, which is going to be much more lucky, I think. Yes, 4 engineers and 4 P-gens damage, so that is a brutal hit right there. On the front, Screw Loose is not looking particularly healthy. I would be backing up if I were him. OK Puck does have a good amount of tanks on his side, which you do need when you're the side player, because there are a lot more access points over here, whole lot of territory to control, and you need units for that. You cannot depend on point defense or your ACU or any other single entity or stationary object to protect you, because then you end up with situations like this where there is a Mantis over here picking on this poor hapless engineer that is going to attempt to reclaim him and fail utterly. Nope, it looks like that was actually an attack move order, and the Mantis is just going to barely snag him as he's moving away, and then he's going to run around the outside edge, hopefully towards the back, although it does not look like... Come on, just one more move order. You could do so much more damage with that hero of a Mantis. There it is. Now he's headed over that way, and there's no scout over here, no intel, no way to know where he is at. Oh, nope, there it is. They're going to close in and hopefully kill that Mantis before he is able to get into any trouble. So, looking across the map here, on the left side, it does look like Postal has got a slight unit count advantage, plus he does have those extra factories on the front line that are going to be churning out. Looks like engineers at the moment from one of them and tanks from the other. That is going to let Postal get a whole lot of reclaim under his belt very quickly and hopefully boost him up to higher unit counts and greater tiers as the game moves on. So we've got 5 land factories out here pumping out an incredible flow of units for Screw Loose. It looks like he is intent on taking control of the middle. Maverick is getting an upgrade. I did not actually see what it was. That is gun, and he is asking for energy because he did not build enough. He's trying to get gun upgrade, heavily assisted with 420 power income, which is suicidal if I've ever seen anything. Lots of Lobos in here. Lobos are a dangerous thing to have on your commander. Of course, like with any other Team 1 artillery, if you dodge just a little bit, you're not going to really take any damage because the projectile path is calculated based on where your commander will be, not where it is, and therefore if you just change direction, it'll miss you entirely. But the problem with Lobos is that they pack the greatest punch of any of the T1 artilleries per mass. So if you do take a couple shots to the face, the alpha damage is tremendous, and you are going to die very, very quickly. The, what do you call it? The floaty arty, the Zooey, has as much damage, but it's spread out over more shots. So each particular shot does less damage, and the Zooey costs half again as much as a Lobo, so there's usually going to be fewer of them. Trying to save those gunships, pulling them to the back, but the air is relentless. Postal chasing those gunships down, trying to eliminate them as best as he can, and it looks like the North has got a huge air advantage. Maverick does have the gun upgrade. He just plowed under all of the armies that Tarantula and ICOM had at their disposal, and he is continuing to do damage, but now there's 3 gunships on his commander, and that is bad news for the amount of health that he has. However, counter gunships! Sui is going to fly out with his gunships, sacrificing his offensive capability in order to save his teammate, which we can all say is a very noble cause. Putting the needs of the team before your own glory, and T2 gun sniping that son of a gun that's been getting on your nerves right over here. Actually, White may end up having problems because it looks like he's going to end up with way less units than Postal does, so this may be a problem area for the game moving forward, but for the most part, it does look like things are being relatively successful. Gunships coming in for ICOM, but there are a lot of anti-air turrets over here. ICOM dipping down in health. Interceptors coming in to assist that commander. Oh my goodness, 447 HP at the low point. That was very nearly a death. We've got a flak down, and they're building a shield to protect that commander because you do not want to lose him when you've got an ACU camping on your doorstep that definitely has the gun upgrade. Looks like we got nano regen going down on Maverick, netting him an immediate health jump and a whole lot of regen, 73 regen. He can out regen, what, 3 T1 tanks? Something like that worth of damage. So he is going to increase in health very, very quickly, but do not be mistaken, folks. Your ACU is not invincible. Should you run into the point defense, you will have a very, very bad time. Okay, Puck and Screw Loose facing off right over here. Kind of weird to see the front player versus the right player over here, but it does look like Zarin has stealth and T2, and he is moving into the fight and pushing his own units up. Right over here, Maverick is doing his best to be a pain in the buttocks of the enemy team. But here comes some gunships. It looks like OK Puck is going to push that ACU back once again and then flee once he gets in range of the anti-air. You just got to kind of nudge him a little bit. Just keep that ACU away from your teammates so that hopefully you don't lose anybody. And there's a pause and a whole lot of messages. Someone is very, very angry. Screwloose commenting, it seems like they're winning air. And yes, that would be an accurate assumption because there are way more interceptors on this side than on this side. That's mainly due to Sui building almost exclusively gunships up until just a minute ago. And okay, Puck building a mixture of gunships and interceptors, keeping enough air on hand to protect his lovely damage dealers. Maverick is going to move back in, extending probably way farther than I would be comfortable. Looks like we've got 6 gunships on hand. Those are going to come in and go for the jugular. Maverick intent on chasing down Tarantula, who does have the T2 upgrade, not nearly as much regen, but a greater amount of health. Those 6 gunships piling onto the ACU, dealing tons of damage as Maverick continues to walk forward. Why? He is standing in point defense, in units, under gunships, thinking that his ACU is invincible because he has the nano upgrade, but how many times do I have to say it? It's not. You still take damage. There goes the ACU. Those T1 point defense probably dealing nearly as much damage as the gunships did. Maverick, idiots! I am betting he's going to blame the air players. 0 air. Okay, that is a lie, and you know it. There's air right there, and you were standing on top of point defense. Why would you do such a thing? All right, Maverick definitely deserved to die on that one. Although we shouldn't be too harsh, because as we all know, everybody walks into point defense now and again. But I think we can definitely label that as his own fault and not the fault of any supposed air player that might be. Although maybe I'm missing something on the meta of this map. That is a lot of M's in a row, because both of these players are building an excessive amount of air. So maybe this is typically designated the traditional air slot. I'm not entirely sure, but it would not surprise me, because most of the time people want one person to blame in a team game and not have to distribute the blame equally among the team, and usually that guy is the air guy. Everybody playing on Settins, you should all take a day to thank your air player, because he goes through a lot of hell, and most of the time he has a great influence on whether or not you win the game. Maybe support him a little sometimes. Postal knocking back some units. Tarantula building the point defense that he started and then left, so they're going to try to beat back the remaining units that are on the front line. And it looks like ICOM is also rallying his troops, moving forward, but there are a couple of Cerberus turrets out there. Why the hell would you not finish building a 90% Cerberus turret? 95% complete Cerberus turret? I don't even know. Cerberus turrets are amazing little things. They don't cost very much. They don't deal a huge amount of damage, but they have a very fast firing rate and very fast retargeting. So they are going to be able to deal with T1 units exceptionally well. Good on you, Serbies, especially when you are under a shield, which provides you the HP that you so desperately need. Alright, I'm going to have to figure out which way this game is heading now, because it is a 4 versus a 3. Air control is on this side. We've got T2 gunships. We've got an excessive amount of interceptors. It looks like they've also got a TAC launcher, which is going to be plinking away at the mass extractors on this side, although it does look like there are TMD coming online, so that success is going to be short-lived. Sui standing out in front, totally unprotected with no TMD in this base, although that might be beyond the reach of Postal's. Was it Postal? Where did the TML come from? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? There it is. So he could actually reach that one, but the rest of the base will be outside of his reach. Sui ramping up his economy quite enviably, in fact. 110 income at the moment, 125 once you factor in the reclaim, and he has reclaimed a lot. 13K, in fact. Let's go ahead and run down the numbers while we have a minute. 13K on his part. Zeren is at 13K as well. A lot of reclaim on the south side. Postal at 11.8. Okay, Puck at 10. Screwloose is sitting at 14. ICOM is at 39. And then last but certainly not least, we have Tarantula, who is at 3,300. So I think the south side has a bit of a reclaim lead at the moment, but that is fading away. And there's another mass extractor down. Alright, so there are some T2 units on the line. We've got a Mongoose for a little bit of range. We've got a TML for even more range, but less precise unit tracking. We've got a couple of tanks, couple of shields, and maybe even a flak somewhere in there. Nope, just T1 mobile anti-air. Yep, there it is. Right there, a flak. I thought that I saw one. So nice unit mix here. Well done, Screw Loose. This is what you should be doing most of the time, peoples. It saves you a whole lot of heartache later on. And the flak is especially good when you know that you don't have air control, because that's always something that you should put in there anyway, but excessively so without the control of air. Loyalists coming out from the back. We do have T3 on the field for Zarin. Those are going to be of limited use at this precise moment because he only has one. But once he gets a clump, and especially if this continues to be sparsely populated at best, then he is going to get a lot of unit use out of a unit such as a Loyalist. The speed makes it invaluable. Looks like the gunships are going to move in and take out all of those tanks. Sad face. But there should be some flak being mixed in. And there's not. There's 2 mobile flak right there. So if Zarin gets his act together and sends out some flak with those Loyalists that he's sending up from the rear, he should do exceptionally well versus his opponent. On the left-hand side, we got some T1 artillery, and let's face it, T1 artillery is all you really need if there aren't any tanks to defend against you. Although it does look like Tarantula... Excuse me, it does look like Tarantula is sending some T1 tanks over to reinforce, so that situation may not be very long-lived. In the back here, we got some shielding going up, some T3 mass extractor upgrades going down, and plenty of power built. Nothing exceptionally interesting, though. I don't see any T3. I don't see any potential... Nope! Oh, okay, that's a T2. I was about to say. I almost overlooked an HQ, but I did not. So nothing interesting happening on the north side. On the south side, we've got a T3 PGen going up, which is strangely enough cybered, even though there is... Ah, he borrowed one from over here. Good guy, Zarin. Donating some T3 tech in order to help his opponent get a leg up. We've got T2 for Screw Loose. That exceptionally good unit makeup. Still going strong, but nothing else of interest happening. And then, of course, the Loyalist for Zarin. So I think that brings us up to speed on the map. Why is there a lonely hive right there? I do not understand, but I will not question it. He has a higher rank than I do. Okay, I wonder if he meant to build a TMD. Because that would have made a lot more sense. But the TMD... Yeah, the TMD and the hive are definitely not next to each other. So he had to have intentionally built the hive. Engineers up at the front for Postal doing a good job of reclaiming. And you can see how most of the reclaim has gone back here. And most of the reclaim has gone back here. And now players are focusing on just cleaning up the middle of the map where the current battles have been happening. That is how reclaim should look, folks. You shouldn't have an excessive amount on your side once you get 20 minutes into the game. You should be just about done reclaiming every speck that you can get off the ground. Okay, Puck has a bit of a shield up still. He's taken a little damage, but that is a T2 gun shield comm. A tough bastard if ever there was one. Although there are 4 Cerberus turrets and a couple of shields over here providing protection to this fixed point. And Loyalists on top of it all. Oh my goodness, there's a Monkey Lord coming online. Sui is going to push a monkey up where the sun don't shine, and that is not a pleasant place to have a monkey playing around. This is going to turn out really badly. Loyalists moving up on the right-hand side where there's really not anything that can effectively defend against them, especially if there's flak. And there's still not flak! Why are you doing this to me, Zarin? You should have flak. Well, you do have flak, it's just not with your Loyalists. Then we've got these units that are moving up the center, which spell bad news indeed for the north side. And then we're about to have a Monkey Lord. So unless something changes very, very soon, this is not going to be a fun time for the North team. Now there's a couple of ACUs over here. Hopefully the Monkey Lord makes a misstep, goes after the two commanders, and it can get overcharged to death. But as we all know, sometimes the lucky things are too much to hope for. Tarantula is coming back, wandering around for no particular reason, I suppose. I like the map control on this side, but still, Sui is rocking 164 income, and Postal only has 35. That cannot be right. 120, but the power stall is real, guys. So Sui has just straight up out-teched everybody. He's not had to deal with any of the harassment because his teammates are playing so strongly. And the north side is just not harassing as it should be. Here come the Loyalists, plowing under the right-hand side, moving northward. There are now 4 mobile flak. Thank you so much, Zarin. Restoring my faith in humanity. He's building flak by the dozens, and he is moving it up with his Loyalists, so hopefully those will be able to survive versus those T2 gunships. Here comes the Monkey Lord. There are 6 Harbingers, and a group of point defense over here. Now, if there was an ACU over here, and preferably that one, because, well, no, he doesn't have the range upgrade, so that kind of sucks. The range shield Aeon Commander stands a very good chance of taking down a Monkey Lord. He's going to send the Harbingers out in front to die one by one and barely damage the monkey. So there is mistake number 1. Should have kept it back in the shields and hopefully had a meat shield of a factory in front of those relatively fragile T3 units. They are Harbingers after all. Here come the gunships trying to take out the Monkey Lord. But there is some T3 air out from Sui. The numbers may not be on the South team's side, but the tech level certainly is. That Monkey Lord is going to start rampaging through the base, crushing some things to death under its formidable feet, and lasering the rest. Is going to move over this way, probably try... Nope, he is going to focus fire the T3 mechs. Very interesting choice of strategy there. T3 units moving through OK Puck's base. That is going to do horrible things to his economy as the Monkey Lord starts targeting down Purple's base. So, story here is that he should be targeting the T2 PGen, because that would blow up all of the point defense, all of the engineers, and everything else, saving the Monkey Lord alive. Hopefully. There goes OK Puck. I'm not sure if he actually was killed by units or not. He may have control K'd since he got bypassed. Middle failed. Sui had no air at all from Maverick, and the blaming continues. Alright, so you saw that. T2 point defense exploded, took out most of the units around there in one fell swoop, thanks to a low HP unit dying. And the rest of the point defense were cleaned up, so that Monkey Lord is free to clamber all about the landscape as he so pleases, creeping out people along the way and doing horrible, horrible things to everything that he finds. ICOM running for the back, and we've still got Postal with an intact base, but that is not going to last long, I fear. Here goes the PGens. Energy storage contributing to the quick destruction of that economy. And I do believe, folks, that that is all she wrote. Postal takes the Control K way out, ICOM leaves, and there is the desync. Thankfully at the end of the game, so that does not ruin anything. Well, that was a little bit of a flip on its head, thanks mostly to the massive eco-whoring of Sui. Maverick grossly overextended there, died in a way that I think we can all appreciate. And then 3 versus 4, the South side pulled it out by, in general, teching way harder than their counterparts on the North. There's several points where that game could have changed. Had the North side built some more units, raided a little bit, or maybe flexed the muscles that they did have a little bit better. They had air control for quite a good amount of time and didn't really take advantage of it. I think that game could have turned out very, very differently. But as it is, well played, GG all the way around. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to send me replays if you have such things lying around collecting dust. And I will see you in the next one.